Every rivalry needs a spark. Every legend begins with a grudge. Picture two giants of the automotive world locked in a silent battle for pride, innovation, and endurance. One side defined by precision and heritage, the other by scale, ambition, and the will to prove it could build a machine that would not just compete but dominate. This is not just a story about speed. It is about obsession, engineering, and a moment in time when technology met ego on the track and changed everything that followed. Today, we revisit the race that turned a business feud into a motorsport revolution, a story of how determination transformed into mechanical perfection, and how one machine redefined what victory could mean on a world stage. Like and subscribe if you love stories where engineering meets emotion. And comment below which automotive legend you want us to cover next. The story of the Ford GT40 1966 begins with a rejection. In the early 1960s, Ford Motor Company wanted to buy its way into the upper echelon of motorsport. The goal was simple but bold: acquire a proven European race team and instantly compete at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, the most demanding endurance race in the world. Negotiations with Ferrari seemed promising. Both sides explored a partnership that would merge Ford's industrial strength with Ferrari's racing brilliance. But when the deal collapsed at the last moment, Ford's leadership took the rejection personally. That single moment set in motion one of the most ambitious engineering programs in the history of racing. The Ford GT40 project was born not in calm calculation, but in frustration and pride. Henry Ford II decided that if his company could not buy success, it would build it. The target was specific: beat Ferrari at Le Mans. To do that, Ford needed to create a car that could not only match the Italian cars for speed but survive 24 hours of constant stress, heat, and mechanical punishment. This challenge went beyond horsepower. It demanded endurance, reliability, and aerodynamic efficiency. Ford turned to engineers and racing minds who had lived through the toughest competitions. Among them was Carroll Shelby, a man who understood both American muscle and European finesse. Early attempts at building the GT40 revealed how difficult the mission really was. The first prototypes were fast but unstable. The low-slung body, inspired by European design, generated dangerous lift at high speeds. Engines overheated, gearboxes failed, brakes wore out long before the finish line. At Le Mans in 1964 and 1965, the Ford effort ended in frustration. Each failure, however, became a lesson. Engineers collected data, studied weaknesses, and refined every system. By 1966, the project had evolved into a full-scale industrial campaign. Ford's resources seemed limitless. Parts, data, and technology were funneled toward a single goal: to finish and to win. The final GT40 Mk2 emerged as a machine purpose-built for dominance. Its 7.0-liter V8 engine produced immense torque, far beyond anything Ferrari had under its hood. The car's aerodynamic profile was reworked to reduce lift, and cooling systems were redesigned to manage heat over the 24-hour grind. The chassis balanced rigidity with precision handling, and the brakes, supplied by an advanced ventilated disc system, could withstand repeated high-speed stops. The result was a car that was not just fast but resilient, capable of maintaining pace long after others faltered. Yet technology alone could not guarantee victory. Le Mans was a race of patience, strategy, and teamwork. Ford assembled a lineup of seasoned drivers who understood how to balance aggression with mechanical sympathy. Each pit stop became a synchronized operation. Every lap was recorded and analyzed in real time. Ford's approach looked more like a military campaign than a race entry. Everything was data-driven, controlled, and optimized for survival. The competition noticed. This was no longer a manufacturer testing its luck, but a corporation waging a precision engineering assault on endurance racing. The 1966 race itself unfolded under heavy tension. The Ford GT40S started strong, their thunderous V8s echoing down the Mulsanne Straight. Ferrari's response was confident. Their lighter, more nimble cars were proven over years of dominance. But as hours passed, the endurance factor began to shift the balance. While Ferrari's cars faced mechanical fatigue, the GT40S maintained a steady rhythm, lap after lap. Night fell, rain came and went. The Ford team executed pit stops with clinical precision. By morning, it was clear that something historic was happening. Mechanical attrition claimed many competitors. but the GT40S endured. Their massive torque allowed them to pull through long straights with ease, while improved aerodynamics kept them stable. Ford's strategy emphasized control over recklessness. Drivers were instructed to manage the cars as assets, not weapons. That mindset paid off. As dawn broke over Le Mans, Ford's machines held the top positions. The moment that had started with boardroom humiliation was turning into a public triumph. The final hours of the race were marked by an unusual instruction from the Ford team management. In a display of corporate unity, they planned a staged photo finish, with the top GT40S crossing the line together. It was both a celebration and a statement. The Ford GT40 had not only competed but had rewritten the narrative of endurance racing. Ferrari's streak of victories at Le Mans was over, replaced by an American-made symbol of power and persistence. That moment captured more than a race result. It represented a cultural shift. For the first time, an American manufacturer had proven that it could build a machine to rival Europe's best on their own terms. The Ford GT40 1966 became a symbol of what happens when ambition meets engineering discipline. It was a car forged from disappointment, refined through failure, and perfected through determination. Its victory was not just about speed but about vision, leadership, and the relentless pursuit of excellence. The aftermath of Le Mans 1966 confirmed that Ford had entered a new era. The GT40 continued to dominate the race for years, but the 1966 win remained the defining chapter. It was a story of resilience in the face of early setbacks, of engineers learning from every breakdown, and of a team unified by a singular purpose. The Ford GT40 1966 was more than a car. It was a message sent from Detroit to the rest of the world. American innovation had arrived on the global stage, and it was here to stay. The second phase of the Ford GT40 1966 story lies not in its victory alone, but in understanding how it got there. Behind the spectacle of Le Mans was a machine honed through thousands of hours of trial, failure, and refinement. By the time the GT40 Mk2 lined up for the 1966 race, every system had been redesigned for endurance. The lessons from earlier defeats had shaped a car capable of running flat out for 24 hours while maintaining structural integrity, thermal stability, and mechanical reliability. The Ford GT40 1966 represented the full power of industrial collaboration, combining corporate resources with racer instinct. To appreciate what made it special, it helps to break down the car's engineering logic. At its core was the 427 cubic inch V8 engine, derived from Ford's NASCAR program. This power plant produced more than 480 horsepower, but more importantly, it delivered sustained torque across long stretches of high-speed running. Engineers reinforced the crankshaft and cooling systems to handle continuous high loads. The gearbox, a weak point in earlier versions, was upgraded to handle the immense torque without failure. Even the fuel system was redesigned to ensure consistent pressure throughout the race. Every detail mattered, because at Le Mans, a single malfunction could erase hours of progress. The GT40's aerodynamics were equally crucial. Engineers studied airflow behavior across the car's low body and discovered that earlier prototypes had created lift at speeds above 180 miles per hour. That instability could send a car spinning down the Mulsanne straight. By 1966, the bodywork was reprofiled, and the front end was reshaped to keep the car planted. Cooling ducts were optimized to feed the massive brakes and engine bay without increasing drag. The design was not elegant in a traditional sense. It was purposeful. Every curve, vent, and panel existed to serve the goal of finishing the race faster than any rival could. But engineering alone could not guarantee performance under race conditions. The GT40's success was built on an operational philosophy that treated endurance racing like a science experiment. Ford's team collected data on fuel burn, tire wear, brake temperature, and oil pressure in real time. Pit crews rehearsed for hours to reduce every second of downtime. The drivers were briefed with specific lap targets to balance speed with mechanical sympathy. No element was left to chance. This was a new kind of racing culture, one that emphasized process and precision over emotion. The GT40 1966 was the manifestation of that philosophy. The driving experience itself was brutal. The cockpit of the Ford GT40 1966 was small, hot, and noisy. Drivers sat low to the ground, their feet positioned close to the front wheels. Heat from the massive V8 radiated into the cabin, and fatigue became a constant battle. Yet the car rewarded those who respected its balance. It demanded concentration. Small inputs delivered big results. The steering was heavy but accurate, the brakes firm and consistent. On the long straights, the GT40 surged forward with relentless thrust, the roar of its V8 echoing across the French countryside. Drivers described the sensation as controlled aggression, a car that could overwhelm if mishandled but reward precision when mastered. What truly set the GT40 apart, however, was its ability to maintain performance as conditions deteriorated. Le Mans is a test of endurance not only for machines but for weather, light, and fatigue. Rain could turn the track into a slick surface. Darkness could hide debris or worn patches of tarmac. Through all of it, the GT40's stability allowed drivers to keep pace while others slowed. The combination of aerodynamic balance, powerful brakes, and strong suspension made it not only fast but predictable. In endurance racing, predictability equals survivability. That trait alone gave Ford a decisive edge. The 1966 Sierra Leonean Leone's Mans campaign featured 8 GT40 entries. Some retired due to mechanical issues, but the frontrunners demonstrated the car's maturity. Ford's pit organization was relentless. Tire changes, refueling, and driver swaps were conducted with clockwork precision. Engineers monitored wear patterns and made subtle adjustments during stops. The scale of Ford's operation dwarfed that of many competitors. It was not just a race team, it was a mobile laboratory with a singular focus. Behind the scenes, tensions existed. The collaboration between American management and European engineers was not always smooth. Cultural differences created friction over design priorities and communication. Yet those conflicts also generated innovation. American engineers brought industrial efficiency. Their European counterparts contributed nuanced experience from years of endurance racing. The Ford GT40 1966 was the synthesis of those worlds, proving that progress thrives under pressure. As the race reached its midpoint, strategy became more important than outright speed. Teams had to decide when to push and when to conserve. The GT40's fuel efficiency, though not its strongest trait, was offset by its ability to maintain high speed without overstressing components. The car's cooling system, once a liability, now allowed for extended stints between stops. Drivers could run longer without mechanical fear, which over 24 hours translated to time gained on track. Even as other manufacturers fielded refined, elegant machines, the GT40's brute force approach worked. It was built for one purpose: to finish first. The race became a study in contrasts between artistry and industry, between handcrafted elegance and mass-engineered endurance. The Ford GT40 1966 did not seek beauty. It sought results. And those results reshaped how the automotive world viewed American capability. When dawn broke over Le Mans and the GT40S maintained their lead, it became clear that this was not luck. It was the result of relentless problem-solving, an understanding that failure was a data point, not a defeat. The Ford GT40 1966 represented the idea that engineering excellence requires humility before success. Every broken part from previous years had become a clue. Every failure had taught something essential. The car was not built overnight. It was built through learning, iteration, and refusal to quit. That mindset carried beyond the racetrack. The success of the Ford GT40 1966 inspired a new generation of engineers who believed that American innovation could compete on any global stage. It proved that endurance racing was not just about individual genius but about collaboration across disciplines. The car stood as evidence that when ambition meets analysis, remarkable things happen. The GT40's triumph was more than mechanical. It was cultural, technological, and deeply human. The legacy of the Ford GT40 1966 deepens when we look beyond the race itself. Its success redefined what manufacturers believed was possible in motorsport and forced a shift in how endurance racing was approached worldwide. Before the GT40, endurance events were often dominated by small, specialized constructors that relied on craftsmanship and tradition. After 1966, the game changed. Scale, data, and systematic engineering became essential to survival. The Ford GT40 1966 proved that preparation and precision could overcome decades of established dominance. In the wake of its victory, the GT40 did not fade into retirement. It became the foundation for continued success. The 1967, 1968, and 1969 Sierra Leonean Leonsmans victories that followed cemented its place in racing history. But 1966 remained the emotional and strategic turning point. It was the year the blueprint was perfected. Engineers built on the 1966 design, refining aerodynamics, materials, and handling. Yet the heart of the achievement lay in the process itself. The Ford GT40 1966 had shown that high-performance engineering could be industrialized without losing soul. For Ford as a company, the impact extended far beyond motorsport. The win became a symbol of American technical confidence during an era defined by competition on multiple fronts, from space exploration to industrial manufacturing. The GT40 was proof that the same methods that built millions of consumer cars could also produce a world champion. It became a marketing triumph as well, connecting Ford's mass-market identity to cutting-edge technology. Customers who would never see Le Mans still felt pride knowing that a car bearing the blue oval had conquered one of the world's toughest challenges. The GT40 1966 also changed how race teams approached endurance strategy. Instead of relying solely on driver instinct, data became central. Engine telemetry, pit communication, and component tracking became the standard. The car's success taught competitors that victory was no longer about chance or individual brilliance. It was about system optimization. That approach, pioneered through Ford's massive investment, eventually became the backbone of modern racing programs across the globe. Culturally, the car bridged two worlds: the American ideal of power and the European pursuit of precision. It captured imaginations because it represented both rebellion and discipline. The Ford GT40 1966 was not polite. It was purposeful. It embodied the idea that technology, when guided by determination, could challenge even the most established hierarchies. That message resonated far beyond the racetrack, inspiring engineers, designers, and drivers for generations. The GT40's influence extended into future supercars and endurance machines. Its low-slung stance, mid-engine layout, and focus on aerodynamic efficiency became the template for performance design. Even decades later, the philosophies behind its construction continue to inform high-performance vehicles. Every time a modern car balances power, efficiency, and durability, it echoes lessons first proven by the GT40 1966. One of the most fascinating aspects of its story is how it redefined teamwork in motorsport. The 1966 victory was not about a single hero but a collective effort involving hundreds of specialists across continents. Mechanics, engineers, executives, and drivers all contributed to a unified mission. That collective approach mirrored Ford's industrial philosophy: large-scale coordination leading to a singular result. The GT40 1966 proved that when complex systems are aligned toward a clear goal, extraordinary outcomes follow. There is also a deeper human element to this legacy. The people behind the GT40 1966 were not always in agreement. They argued, experimented, and sometimes failed spectacularly. Yet their shared determination created something enduring. The story reminds us that innovation rarely comes from harmony alone. It emerges from the friction between ambition and reality. Each redesign, each test failure, and each sleepless night contributed to a car that would change the perception of what American engineering could accomplish. When viewed today, the GT40 1966 represents a convergence of eras. It stands at the midpoint between traditional craftsmanship and the birth of data-driven engineering. Its technology seems raw by modern standards, yet its influence feels timeless. The car was both a product of its decade and a preview of what motorsport would become. Every endurance car that followed owes a small part of its DNA to that machine. The victory at Le Mans in 1966 did not just break a streak. It redefined how success was measured. For years, the event had been dominated by European sophistication and limited budgets. Ford's arrival turned it into a test of industrial might and innovation scale. The GT40 1966 showed that excellence could be engineered, not just imagined. That realization reshaped motorsport's economic and technological foundations. Today, the Ford GT40 1966 remains one of the most recognized and respected racing machines ever built. It symbolizes not just a win but a mindset. The belief that no challenge is insurmountable when design, strategy, and purpose align. Its sleek lines and iconic stance still captivate enthusiasts, but its deeper significance lies in what it represented. It was proof that determination can become design, and that passion, when guided by discipline, can change history. In the decades since, countless books, films, and exhibitions have revisited the GT40 1966, yet its essence remains the same. It is a story of resilience, precision, and the triumph of human ingenuity under pressure. It stands as a reminder that even in the most competitive environments, vision matters as much as machinery. The Ford GT40 1966 did not simply win a race. It redefined what winning meant. The Ford GT40 1966 leaves us with a legacy that reaches far beyond Le Mans. It was a symbol of determination, collaboration, and the power of engineering to turn frustration into achievement. In a time when the automotive world was dominated by tradition, the GT40 arrived as proof that innovation could come from anywhere, even from a company better known for family sedans than race cars. What began as a response to rejection became a blueprint for success built on science, strategy, and relentless refinement. The 1966 victory was more than a headline. It was a turning point in automotive thinking. Ford had demonstrated that endurance racing was not about luck or lineage but about preparation and problem-solving. The Ford GT40 1966 embodied that principle completely. Every component had a reason. Every process had a purpose. It showed that when resources and intellect converge around a clear goal, results follow. That mindset did not just win a race. It changed how global manufacturers approached competition. For the drivers and engineers involved, the GT40 1966 was both a triumph and a teacher. It reminded them that speed without control was meaningless, and that persistence under stress defined true performance. The long hours, the mechanical failures, the redesigns, and the sleepless nights all led to one defining moment when everything worked in harmony. That harmony, rare and fleeting, is what made the Ford GT40 1966 unforgettable. Even decades later, its silhouette still captures imaginations. Museums and collectors treat it as an artifact of human ambition, a piece of machinery that transcended its function to become art. Each curve tells a story of adaptation and learning. Each rivet and vent reflects an insight earned through hard experience. The GT40 1966 represents the moment when American automotive engineering matured on the world stage and announced itself as a permanent force. The story of the Ford GT40 1966 is ultimately about what happens when vision outpaces limitation. It is about people who refuse to accept defeat, who turned a setback into motivation, and who built something that endures long after the checkered flag fell. Its lessons still apply today, that progress demands persistence, that excellence comes from iteration, and that success often starts with the courage to challenge the established order. The Ford GT40 1966 was born from competition, refined by science, and immortalized by victory. It stands as proof that the line between failure and greatness is drawn by those who choose to keep building. Its roar may have faded from the track, but its influence continues to echo in every car that dares to chase perfection.